Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Rainday Gaming. My name is Rainday, and today it's a great day. It's the day Paladins has finally released into open beta, and that means that the game is ready to welcome an entirely new audience of players who enjoy the team-based first-person shooter genre. Now, of course, this game is free to play, so the question of should I buy it is kind of out of the window. However, with a plethora of team-based FPS games hitting the market over the last year, the real question that begs attention is, should I play Paladins, given that I have other games in the genre that look great as well? That is what I'll be guiding you lost souls through today, as I'll be covering the 5 most unique and, in my opinion, favorite things about the game that set it apart from any other shooter on the market. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing about Paladins that I really enjoy is the customization. Paladins is a first-person shooter that involves cards, allowing you as a player to access a card deck system to customize each champion's stats around your particular playstyle. Different loadouts can make a champion feel extremely different, so depending on what style of play you prefer, there should be cards to support it. For me, this shows up in cool ways, like if I want to play a tank like Fernando, but I don't want to play and just sit on the point all day, I could actually build a deck that allows me to be more offensive and gain movement speed after I hit my offensive abilities, allowing me to stick with lower health targets who might be trying to escape from my AoE damage. The possibilities are endless, and this leads to an extremely high level of strategy before the matches even take place. Plus, there's a very rich cosmetic system per champion, meaning you can customize their head, their body, their mount, their voice packs, weapons, emotes, and other really cool things coming down the pipeline. The best part about this for me is that my champion can feel like my champion and play differently from anybody else's. Alright, moving on to number 2, the second best thing about Paladins is the in-match counterplay. In Paladins, there are items during the game that allow you to further customize your champion's builds and stats within the match, and also counter the enemy team. These items can be upgraded within a game as well, and function similar to items in a MOBA, adding another level of strategy and depth to an already very unique take on a shooter. Many decisions are constantly being made in a fight, at the beginning of a round, or immediately after you die, and it keeps the action fast-paced and continually relevant. And if you haven't noticed, I'm a huge Smite fan, so having that MOBA-like element in a first-person shooter was really cool for me and allowed me to bridge the gap between Smite into my first FPS a lot easier. Now remember, I'm not giving priority into one being more important than 5, I'm just listing the 5 most unique and best things about Paladins so you can see where it differentiates itself in the FPS market. And for me, number 3 is probably the most important. It's that Paladins is built from the ground up for competitive play. Not only does Hi-Res Studios have a huge history of supporting competition and esports with a strong spectator mode and a lot of tournaments such as the Smite World Championships and the Hi-Res Expo each year, but they've got a game that's actually inherently built to be a strategic shooter. They've got a draft system in place in Paladins that means when you get into a competitive match, you'll be either first picking or second picking, and the champion that the enemy team picks will not be available for your team to pick. So you'll have to have a lot of cooperation, coordination, and discussion about what type of squad you want to put together against what the enemy team is building. And oh yeah, did I mention this? No switching characters in the match either. That makes drafting that much more important, but it also makes spectating the game that much easier for commentators like myself, or simply as a viewer who might get confused about seeing one champion in and then the next moment seeing another champion played by the same person. It can be a little messy, and this creates a very clean, consistent dynamic that can constantly have a story built up around it over the few rounds that go on in the game. And I'm a pretty big competitor. I've got a background in sports, I was drafted to DC United in the MLS, and so for me, champion switching, it's not cheating, but I like to see teams pick something and stick with it and then make adjustments as to how they can play that matchup better and really focus on how to counter their teammates within the game rather than changing the dynamic of the game by adding a different character into the mix. That's just my preference, but it's something that I really like about Paladins and sets it apart. Now, the number 4 best thing about Paladins is that it's fantasy themed. That's right, it's a fantasy themed shooter, and this is actually kind of unique. This is a big deal for me personally, as I'm a huge fantasy fan. Most shooters are sci-fi or military in their background or style within the game, but for me, I'm all about dragons and wizards, baby. Seeing Patrick Rothfuss at PAX West a few weeks ago had me starstruck, and I'll read anything Brandon Sanderson writes. So being able to play an FPS within a fantasy theme feels right at home with my imagination's preferences. It also gives the game a bit of a light-hearted feel, which I really enjoy. The scenery is jovial and upbeat, and that's great since I usually want to play a game to relax, have fun, and simply enjoy myself. I mean, some of the military type shooters are so real, they're so serious that it can be a little stressful whether you live or die. It can be like shocking. Within Paladins, there's that rush of satisfying FPS gameplay, but that feel-good vibe really takes a lot of the weight off of the game so that you can really enjoy yourself throughout the matches. So we're all the way to number 5, but before we go to that, I want to say thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please do leave a like, and if you didn't, leave a dislike and let me know why in the comment section below. And if you want to hang out with me in the channel, feel free to subscribe. I do a lot of Smite gameplays, Paladins gameplays, and potentially some more reviews like this if people do find them informative and interesting and helping you to make decisions about what games you want to play. Now, let's talk about the number 5 best thing about Paladins, which could potentially be the most important to some of you, and that's that it is free to play. That's right, this is a free-to-play game. All the things you've been seeing and that I've been talking about come to you at absolutely zero cost. And if you want to grind out all of the content in the game, you can, and it's not even that hard. The cool thing is that Hi-Res Studios has a mentality of try before you buy, and that's really what this is. Of course, when you get invested in the game, you're going to want your character's cool helmet, you're going to want that new skin that comes out for your favorite damage dealer, and thus you will eventually put money into the game, but not before you get invested and see that you like it. To me, I have absolutely no problem paying for a game that is good, or paying for a game experience that I enjoy. But the best part about free-to-play is you get to try it out and see that before you have to commit blindly, hoping that you will enjoy a gameplay you've never actually been able to play. Of course, if you want to buy the Founders Pack, because Paladins has just released on Steam, it is actually 33% off. So I believe you could get it for somewhere near $13, $14 and have all of the champions forever with one single purchase and get a couple of cool chests, a cool mount, and a lot of other little extras on top of it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you want to see some more Paladins, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned to my upcoming Paladins videos, as well as follow the links in the description below to find the Twitch and the Paladins game YouTube channel from Hi-Res to stay tuned to all of the updates and the esports action going on over the weekends. As always, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.